Ladies and gentlemen, most people have no idea what real struggle feels like. They try once, fail, cry, and then blame the world. That's weakness. That's what society trains you to do: be soft, give up, and be average. But I'm here to tell you, never stop trying. You think I woke up with millions in my account, with respect, with power? No, I built this, and I failed again and again. You only see the wins. You don't see the early mornings, the nights with no sleep, the betrayals, the self-doubt, the pain. But I never stopped trying, because here's the truth. You need to understand something very clearly. Nobody becomes successful in comfort. Comfort is where dreams die. Comfort is where average lives. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're already losing. The truth is, discomfort is not the enemy, it's the teacher. It's the test, and the faster you accept that, the faster you start winning. You look at every hyper-forming man on this planet, every champion, every multimillionaire, every top-tier operator. They all have one thing in common. They went through hell, and they didn't complain about it. They embraced it. They expected it. Because they knew something you probably haven't accepted yet. Pain is the currency of transformation. Every time your body says, "I'm tired," and you keep going, that's a rep for your mind. Every time life hits you with a problem, and you solve it instead of crying, that's mental muscle. Every time you force yourself to focus when distractions pull at you, you're building elite discipline. The world is built to break you. It's built to make you comfortable, lazy, soft. Your phone feeds you pleasure. Your job trains you to obey. Your friends tell you to relax. But champions, they're forged differently. They chase the uncomfortable. They run toward the pain, not away from it. That cold shower you avoid, that's where your self-control sharpens. That workout you skip, that's the one that builds your grit. That business call you fear, that's the exact call that teaches you courage. If you can't handle discomfort, you will never win. Full stop. You have to get addicted to discomfort, and not in a masochistic way. I don't mean suffer for no reason. I mean train your nervous system to see pain as a signal to level up. Stop seeing pressure as a punishment. Start seeing it as proof that you're growing, because every person who has ever changed their life did it by suffering more than everyone else was willing to suffer. You don't get a six-pack eating pizza. You don't build $1 million business doing what's easy. You don't gain respect sitting on the sidelines. You think lions become kings by staying in the shade? Do you think warriors are born in safety and hugs? No, they're built in battle. And if you don't put yourself through battle voluntarily, life will throw war at you unprepared, and you'll lose. So you've got two options: suffer now, control it. Harness it, use it, suffer later, uncontrollably, regretfully, broken, because either way life makes you suffer. The question is, are you suffering with purpose, or are you suffering with regret? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something truly hard, not mildly uncomfortable, not kinda difficult? I mean something that scared you, something that pushed you to the limit, something where you wanted to quit, but you didn't. If the answer is, I don't remember, then don't wonder why you feel stuck. Don't complain about being broke, being ignored, being weak. Because you haven't earned the right to complain. You haven't trained. Discomfort trains the mind. The reason most people are anxious, depressed, insecure, and lost is because they live too softly. They avoid anything that threatens their comfort zone, and then they wonder why they have no power. But power is earned by walking through fire repeatedly. Start doing the things that make you uncomfortable on purpose. Wake up earlier than you want. Work longer than you feel like. Speak up even when you're scared. Take action when others hesitate. Why? Because every time you conquer a discomfort, you silence the voice in your head that says you're weak. You prove to yourself that you're in control, that you don't need permission, that your feelings don't dictate your future, your decisions do. Success isn't a result of talent. It's not even about intelligence most of the time. It's about resilience, discipline, grit, relentlessness, and all of those are born in discomfort. The gym is uncomfortable and it builds your body. Hard conversations are uncomfortable and they build your relationships. Discipline is uncomfortable and it builds your future. It's all connected, so if you really want to change your life, stop chasing easy. Easy is killing you slowly. Choose the path that tests you, the one that makes your heart beat faster, the one that feels like risk. That's where growth lies. That's where greatness is born. And when you start showing up life with that mindset, that pain is necessary, that pressure is a blessing, that discomfort is the proving ground, you'll realize the truth. Nothing can stop you, because discomfort doesn't defeat you anymore, it trains you, and once you become trained mentally, physically, emotionally, the world bends to your will. That's when you win. Most people are weak not because they lack potential, but because they let their emotions dictate their decisions, and that right there is the difference between winners and losers. Winners act based on discipline, losers act based on feelings. See, success isn't about doing what you want, it's about doing what's required, whether you feel like it or not. People quit when they're tired, they quit when they feel bored, they quit when things don't go their way. That's emotional weakness, that's soft, that's exactly what society has conditioned you to be: emotional, reactionary, weak-minded, and that's why so many people are stuck. Not because they aren't talented, not because they don't have opportunity, but because they lack control over their emotional state. You've got to understand emotions are not reliable. They're inconsistent. One minute you're motivated, the next you're not. One minute you're confident, the next you're doubting everything. If you allow yourself to operate based on these fluctuating feelings, you'll live a life full of half-built dreams, broken routines, and wasted potential. Let me be blunt, your feelings are not facts. You feel tired, so what? You still get up. You feel sad, good, use it. Turn that emotion into action. You feel overwhelmed, that's a test, pass it. You feel like quitting, perfect. That's the exact moment where winners are made. Most people have never even tested their limits because they quit the second it gets uncomfortable. The moment it's not fun, they stop. The moment something feels hard, they run. That's why they'll stay average. That's why they'll scroll social media all day envying people who didn't quit, people who mastered their emotions and kept going. Look, emotional strength isn't natural. You're not born with it. It's trained, it's earned. It's developed through repetition, through hardship, through struggle. You think I wanted to train every day during my fighting career? You think I wanted to work 16 hours a day when I was building my empire? Of course not, but I did it anyway. Why? Because I'm not led by feelings, I'm led by mission, and that's what separates the top 1% from the rest. You want to be dangerous? Learn to override your emotions. You want to be respected? Learn to be consistent when others are inconsistent. You want to win in life? Master your emotional state, or it will master you. Your brain is a tool. Emotions are a signal, not a command. Just because you feel fear doesn't mean you shouldn't take the risk. Just because you feel unmotivated doesn't mean you should skip the work. Just because something hurts doesn't mean you stop. It means you train, because the truth is, most people's emotions are weaponized against them. They're addicted to comfort, pleasure, validation. When it's not there, they feel empty, and instead of creating their own discipline, they chase distractions. Video games, porn, junk food, gossip, alcohol, all to avoid the discomfort of their own emotions. But the man who sits with his emotions, the man who feels the fear but moves anyway, the man who feels the weakness and still chooses discipline, that man becomes unstoppable. So the next time you feel like quitting, I want you to remember this. Your mind is lying to you. That voice telling you to stop, that voice whispering maybe tomorrow, that's your old identity fighting to survive. And the only way to kill it, the only way to evolve, is to fight back, relentlessly. Without emotion, the gym will feel hard, the business will feel uncertain, the journey will feel lonely. Good. That means you're on the right path. It's not supposed to feel good. Growth is supposed to break you down so you can rebuild into something unrecognizable. And when it does get hard, when it really tests you, most people will fold, but not you, because you're training your emotional muscle. Every time you keep going, even when it's painful, you're proving that you're different, that you're not like the rest, that you're on a mission, and that mission is greater than whatever emotion you're feeling in the moment. So you can either be emotionally driven or mission driven. Choose one, because you can't build greatness and obey every mood swing you have. You can't build strength while feeding weakness. You can't win if your emotions run your life. Control your emotions and you control your decisions. Control your decisions and you'll control your destiny. And one last thing, if you keep quitting, you'll start believing that quitting is who you are. Don't let that become your identity. Rewrite the story by refusing to fold. Be the man who keeps going when everyone else taps out. That's how legends are made. Trying isn't failing, quitting is. And you better start understanding the difference, because most people don't. Most people confuse effort with failure. They try something once, it doesn't go how they planned, and they instantly label it a loss. That mindset is weak. That mindset is why people stay broke, stay average, and stay stuck. They're too emotional to understand that the act of trying is what separates the successful from the forgotten. Let me tell you something real. Losers quit. They quit fast. They quit often, and then they lie to themselves. They say things like, "It wasn't for me," or "I gave it a shot," or "It just didn't work out." No, it didn't work because you quit, and you quit because you expected it to be easy. You thought effort should equal instant success. But life doesn't reward effort, life rewards relentless consistency. Do you know why trying isn't failing? Because when you're still trying, you're still in the game, you're still adapting, you're still learning, you're still dangerous. It's when you quit, when you stop showing up, that you've lost. That's when the game is over. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody gets it right the first time. The first business probably fails. The first workout, weak. The first speech, nervous. The first investment might lose money. That's part of the process. That's how you learn. That's how you build character, resilience, and strategy. If you judge your progress based on early outcomes, you'll never grow. You'll tap out before you even hit momentum. People quit because their ego can't handle being bad at something. They think they should be amazing right out the gate. They forget that everyone starts as a beginner. Everyone starts insecure. Everyone starts with failure, but the ones who keep trying, they become elite. You want proof? Look at anyone you admire, a fighter, an entrepreneur, a leader. You think they just woke up one day and everything clicked? No. They tried and failed more times than the average person even started. The reason they succeeded isn't because they're lucky, it's because they never stopped. Every time you try, you collect data. Every attempt teaches you something. Every setback is refining your strategy. That's not failure, that's training. That's the cost of mastery. That's what it takes to dominate in this world. But here's the brutal truth. Most people would rather quit than look stupid. They'd rather stay comfortable than take another loss. They'd rather pretend they're fine than admit they haven't won yet. That mindset is soft. That mindset is fragile. That mindset gets you nothing. Trying is not weak, it's war. Trying again and again takes courage. Every time you get back up after a loss, you prove to yourself that you are not the type of man who gives up when things don't go your way. And that's rare. That's powerful. That's dangerous. You have to start loving the game, the repetition, the grind. You've got to stop seeking the outcome and start respecting the process. Because the process is where real men are made. It's in the doing, the testing, the correcting, the late nights, the early mornings, the setbacks and the comebacks. Let's make this simple. If you're still trying, you're still growing. If you're still trying, you're still learning. If you're still trying, you're still alive in the fight. But the moment you quit, you close the door. You decide that the dream wasn't worth it. You accept defeat. You remove yourself from the possibility of greatness. And for what? So your feelings can feel safe. So your ego doesn't get bruised. That's weak. That's how average men think. And average men don't change the world. So don't let the world tell you that trying and failing is shameful. That's a lie built by people who never had the balls to keep going. The real shame is quitting. The real shame is knowing you could have been great and choosing not to be. You can lose money. You can lose time. You can lose friends. But if you never lose your will to try, you are still undefeated. Because the man who never quits is the man who can never be counted out. And eventually the world bends for that man. Here's the final truth. You don't lose when you fail. You lose when you quit. So keep going, keep evolving, keep striking. Try again, harder, smarter, stronger, and one day the thing you once failed at will be the thing you dominate effortlessly, because you didn't stop. Success is not about brilliance. It's not about being born with talent. It's not even about luck. It's about repetition. Repetition builds killers. Repetition builds winners. You want to be elite. You want to dominate. Then you better fall in love with doing the same thing every single day until you're unstoppable. This is where most people fail. They don't understand the power of doing the boring work. Everyone wants the spotlight, the result, the respect, but nobody wants to repeat the reps when nobody's watching. That's why they lose. That's why they stay average. They do things sometimes. Champions do it every time. You don't get strong by lifting weights once. You don't get rich by working hard for a week. You don't build discipline by getting up early once a month. You build it by doing the thing over and over and over until it becomes who you are. Repetition is the blueprint of mastery. If you repeat greatness, you become great. If you repeat weakness, you stay weak. It's simple. Your habits are the factory that builds your future. Every rep you skip is a rep someone else is doing to pass you. Every shortcut you take is a brick missing in your foundation. And when life gets hard, that missing brick will collapse your entire structure. Look at any top performer, fighter, CEO, athlete, soldier. They don't just train when it feels good. They train because it's part of who they are, its identity. That's what repetition does. It rewires your brain to stop negotiating and start executing. People want to feel motivated first. That's a mistake. Motivation comes after the reps, not before. Do the work and the motivation shows up. You show me a man who trains only when he feels inspired, and I'll show you a man who never wins. You show me a man who trains every day, regardless of how he feels, and I'll show you a savage who can't be stopped. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because they lack structure. They try something once, don't get results, and think it's not working. But repetition is delayed gratification. The progress is invisible until it's undeniable. You do it and nothing changes. You do it again, still no result. But one day everything clicks. Suddenly you're better, stronger, smarter, and it didn't happen by magic. It happened because you repeated. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And if your system is random, weak, emotional, your outcome will be trash. But if your system is disciplined, focused, and consistent, your outcome will be elite. Repetition also kills fear. That's something people don't talk about. You're scared of public speaking, do it 100 times. You're nervous in the gym, go every day. You're unsure in business, make 100 calls. The fear doesn't go away because you think positive. It goes away because you've done it so many times it's normal. Repetition destroys hesitation. That's what separates the amateurs from the pros. Amateurs hope it works. Pros know it will because they've outworked everyone. They've drilled it. They've refined it. They've sharpened it to the point where the task is automatic. That's what you need to build automatic greatness. You do it without thought, without emotion, like breathing. That's the level repetition can take you to if you're willing to pay the price. And here's the truth. Repetition is boring. It's tedious. It's not glamorous. But that's where the edge is. That's why most people quit, because they confuse boredom with failure. They think if it's not exciting, it's not working, but boredom is where the growth is. Boredom means you're no longer obsessed with novelty, you're obsessed with mastery. You can scroll on your phone all day and feel busy, but you're not progressing. You're entertaining yourself to death. You're addicted to stimulation, but repetition isn't about stimulation. It's about elevation, doing what works over and over until you become a machine. And the moment you embrace this mindset, you become dangerous, because now you're not chasing highs, you're building systems, you're doing the work, whether you feel like it or not, and no one can compete with that. You become immune to setbacks because you've trained through them. You become immune to doubt because your identity is built from daily execution. This is what I want you to remember. Success is a result of the boring things done relentlessly well. Anyone can do something once. Anyone can feel fired up and make a move. But only the elite, only the dangerous can do it again and again, with precision, with focus, without applause, without results, until the world is forced to respect the results they've earned. Repetition is the master key. Use it or lose to someone who does. Let's cut the nonsense. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't care about your effort, your excuses, your feelings, or how many times you almost did something. The world cares about results. That's it. Full stop. Scoreboard is the only thing that matters. You either produced or you didn't. You either won or you lost. There's no middle ground, no participation medal, no sympathy bonus for trying. You can talk all day about what you plan to do, what you hope to do, what you almost achieved, but none of it matters if there's no outcome. You think anyone's handing out success for effort. You think billionaires sit around clapping for people who tried hard and failed. No. They respect the man who made it happen, the man who delivered, the man who closed the deal, built the empire, won the fight. This world is savage. It operates on one currency, results. That's the only thing people remember. That's the only thing that moves the needle. You think your competition cares that you were tired. You think the bank cares you were stressed when the bill was due. You think life slows down because you're emotional. No, you're either performing or you're being replaced. And the harsh reality is this. People will only respect you once you've proven you can produce. Until then, you're just another voice in the crowd talking, wishing, pretending. But once you bring results, once you showed outcome, everything changes. Suddenly people listen. Suddenly people want your advice. Suddenly the doors open. Why? Because results are power, and power is what commands respect. You could be the most disciplined man in the world, but if you never execute, if you never get results, nobody's going to care. You could have all the potential in the universe, but if you don't turn that potential into outcomes, it means nothing. The world is full of could-have-beens. They die with regret. You know who doesn't, the ones who did. Your effort means nothing if it doesn't translate into something tangible. You wake up early, great, but what did you build? You went to the gym, cool, but what's your physique like? You say you work hard, then show me your bank account. Show me your results, because that's the only language success understands. You can either be emotional, or you can be effective. Choose, because emotions don't get results, execution does. Discipline does. Precision does. Ruthless consistency does. You think success cares how you feel today. It doesn't. It only asks, did you win? Every second you spend making excuses is a second someone else is getting better. Every time you choose comfort over results, someone else is leveling up. Someone else is putting numbers on the board while you're still explaining why you haven't started yet. This is why most people fail. They confuse movement with progress. They're always doing something, always planning, always preparing, but never finishing, never delivering, never producing results, and then they wonder why nobody respects them, why nobody listens, because they haven't earned it. Respect is earned through proof, not talk, not motivation, not ideas, proof, and the only proof that matters is results. If you're not where you want to be in life right now, ask yourself one question: what have I produced? Not what have I tried, not what have I hoped for. What have I actually created, achieved, or delivered that proves I deserve more? Because you don't get what you want. You get what you can prove you've earned. That's life. That's business. That's war. Now listen carefully. This mindset should not make you feel discouraged. It should make you dangerous, because now you know what the standard is. Now you know what matters. Now you know where to direct your energy: into results, into making something happen, into execution, into numbers, into outcomes, into wins. You want to be respected. Show results. You want freedom. Get results. You want control over your life. Stack results. Because results give you leverage. Results give you options. Results give you confidence. When you're producing, nobody can question you. Nobody can deny you. Nobody can stop you. And here's the best part: when you shift into that mindset, you start to see how much time you've wasted talking, thinking, waiting. And it fuels you. It wakes something up inside you, that fire, that edge, that dangerous version of you that doesn't care about feelings or opinions. He just produces, he gets results, he wins, and when you start operating from that place, you become unbeatable. So from now on, make one commitment to yourself: I will not be remembered for what I tried. I will be remembered for what I delivered, because in this world that's all that matters: results or regrets. Choose one. So here we are. You've heard the truth, not the soft version they feed you in school, not the fake positivity you see online, the real truth. Success doesn't come from luck. It doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from talking. It comes from doing the work every single day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Discomfort, that's the price you pay for greatness. Emotions, control them or be controlled by them. Failure, that's not when you fall. It's when you quit. Repetition, that's how you build discipline, strength, power, and results. That's the only language the world respects. You can try to run from the struggle. You can try to take the shortcut. You can try to wait for motivation, but none of that will save you. The only thing that will is relentless execution. Keep trying, keep pushing, keep rising, because every time you move forward even an inch, you're one step closer to the life you were meant to live. Not a life of excuses, but a life of impact, a life of strength, a life of dominance. And when the world throws pain your way, when it gets dark, when it gets lonely, when your mind screams quit, you won't fold, because you've trained yourself to keep going, to stand tall, to never stop trying. You weren't born to be average. You were built for war, so act like it. The man who never stops trying is the man who becomes unbeatable. So don't stop, not today, not ever.